Hopefully this is the climb to MMR. Boom, triple loss. That'll be the start of the video. We're gonna try hard today. Gonna get into the mindset again. We're picking Snapfire or Jakiro, of course, if she's banned. Looking to win the lanes. I want to emphasize going for denies or harass, kind of depends on the matchup, in that first minute before any camps spawn. And especially, I think, just avoid being, like, useless. I think that happens a lot to me sometimes, where I'm just not doing anything in the lane the first, like, minute. Or not doing as much as I could be. So, I do want to, I want to be more active in that first minute, set myself up for a good laning stage. 117, of course, we'll try to potentially pull. I guess it depends on lane equilibrium, but I at least want to be aware that the timing's there, so pay attention to our timings. I guess before that, block the hard camp if we need to. That'll be matchup dependent. The stacking at 2 minutes. I'm not going to worry too much about securing water runes or power runes still quite yet, because or bounty runes, because it's not really... I don't know. Position 5s, I think, have less freedom to do so. Maybe if the lane's going super well, but usually at the first 2-4 minutes, I don't really feel like I have time to do it, and I'm already struggling to, like, do my own stuff in the lane, so we're not going to worry about it yet. Maybe that's something I'll have to, like, do to get between, like, 6.5 to 7k, but we're still down here at 6.1, so let's not worry about that. Roche timer. What else? What other, like, friendly reminders to myself before we get going? Oh shit, what am I doing? We gotta get out of here. The fountain chrono is coming, guys. Am I gonna look like I was griefing? I think Overwatch would understand this, right? Okay, so first of all, I got poked by that Mirana way too much. I should have played on the top part of the lane and not the bottom part. Took way too much damage, so that's number 1. 2, this is what I mean about the stacking and pulling and the half pulls, where PL is one example of, it's actually the exact same type of carry every single time, who gets really mad at me for not being in the lane, pings me a bunch for not just always attacking, and I'm put in a very weird spot, but they tend to be higher ranked than me, which makes me think perhaps it is correct that I need to just attack the off lane a bunch. Just constantly harass and forget creep aggro, I guess, and just shove the lane, perhaps, because I don't know how else. Like, they ping my spells, they ping my auto attacks, and they're like, you need to hit this guy. Obviously, they say it in a way harsher way. But, like, I don't know how to do that without shoving the lane in. So maybe we should just do that and then worry about pulls later. Like, full extreme. I've already been trying to do that more, but, like, even further. The issue is, I wish any single one of this type of carry player would just say that at the start of the game and let me know what they want. They all wait till I do something else, and then they just lose their mind. One mistake, they lose it. And they don't stop talking for like 5 minutes about how bad I am. But they could have just said it 20 seconds, you know? It would have taken them at the start to be like, hey, just hit the LC a lot and use your spells and we'll be good. And I'd be like, okay, I'll give it a shot, dude. It's always the exact same type of carry player. Others don't mind that I do pulls. The ones that are chill are fine with what I do, or they'll explain. But it's always this exact same stereotype of carry player who wants high aggression, but only lets you know after you don't do it. I don't know, guys. Do you see Enchantress Bristleback and think, like, oh, you can kill these? I don't know. I mean, yeah, I was thinking we could try to be more aggressive, but not to, like, kill, just to, like, use the spell more. I don't know, man. My plan was that this lane sucks, and I thought you would want to jungle as soon as possible, so I was trying to get you the XP. Alright. If you let me know next time, I will be there. That's it! But I mean, I was trying to deal with Enchantress. Ah! A wild bear attack! Aww. Forced to have Luna out? Yeah, that would have been funnier. But anyways, I think I have okay stats. Things I want to try to do, if I start with... No matter what I start with, I think I need to use it right away. Okay, actually, no, I take that back. If we start with Scatter Blast, I think that should be used to secure the range creep. If I start with Little Shredder, I think I should try to use this as soon as possible. And I think that's something I haven't quite been doing, is to just go to the lane from a better position. This is another thing, actually. I don't like my positioning because of the runes. I always get to the lane the same way because I try to participate in the runes, but I don't like how that feels to enter the lane from, especially because none of my carries cut the trees! I'm going to ask them to. We're going to ask them to cut the trees. We're going to ask them what they want in the lane. Okay, we got some actual responses. That's always a plus. I'm pretty confident how we're going to play this lane. He doesn't have a Quelling Blade, so he can't cut trees for me. I'm pretty sure we go for this build and we fight. Drow, how do you feel about this lane? I think at like level 2 or 3 we can fight, right?
We just hit them. Just win the regen fight. We do more damage hitting them.
All
I don't
right.
know if we're gonna kill us a Weaver unless he's dumb.
On the same page. Good to go. Thanks for the reminder, guys. Maybe they'll throw.
Alright guys, I know we probably lost this game, but we can still do it.
Ah. I'll tell you what, though, guys. This is the power of being a content creator. I just lost 3 games. I'm depressed, but man, it's going to be a twist in the next video, right, for the update? Because I left on an positive note. It's like, oh, maybe we're doing it. Boom, triple loss. That'll be the start of the video. So at least we're still getting something out of it. What's that movie where the guy is driving that bus and he can't stop? Like, he can't go below a certain speed? Spoiler alert. Speed, right? Yeah. That's me, but for streaming. As long as it's above 75, stream can't die. Okay, you guys are getting what you want. Snapfire got banned. He might come to try to... Yeah. So at the least, right now, I gotta take, like, a winning trade. I know you use your TP. Die, bitch. Die! Die! One more. No, he had a stick. Damn him. I think we won a game. Nice work. Oh, that was so stressful. Oh, well, you guys got saved. It's not Snapfire. Well, looks like this orange isn't going to pick a hero anyways. Maybe that's good for us. All right, guys. 1 draw. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. How did we get 2 games in a row where the guy didn't expect mid? Rest in peace, Snapfire. So that puts us back at what? 3 losses for the day?
Damn, when I said I was dog water, I didn't think you guys were like fucking dog shit.
So that didn't go so hot. It happens. It was a bit demoralizing because we just said if we keep winning, that shows we've truly gained some MMR, potentially. But it's okay. It's part of the journey. So after that, I decided I didn't want this to get too repetitive. So I decided to play out the rest of the games and then just run them by you, at least for now, because it's starting to look like maybe this will take a while, So I think if we do a video every few games, it might go on for who knows how long. So after that, played some unranked games. Like I said, got to detilt a little bit. Then we started the slow climb to get back up to where we were, and actually, it went pretty smoothly. A few games later, we reached a new peak. I think it was 6180 MMR. I've actually been higher than that before, but a new peak since starting the series, where we started at 6030. And so then I thought, okay, maybe the last time was a fluke, because we got back here pretty easily, and so maybe now we're going to keep winning and gain MMR. And turns out that was not the case. It was very much not the case, actually. 8 losses in a row over 2 days is... it's a new record for me for a while. I think I have lost more games than this in the past. But this is a lot. This is when around Snapfire got nerfed. So I'm not gonna blame the nerf for these losses or anything. Especially because you'll notice we did end up winning a couple after that. And by the end of the 60 games, we are somehow 30-30. So a 50% win rate. It does look like you can win with Snapfire, despite what that 8-loss streak might suggest. So lessons now that we've done 60 games. What can we learn and what are we going to do moving forward? So first of all, like I said, the record ended up being 50-50. But I did want to highlight a trend that we have talked about before, and that is that games that went, or days where I played 5 or more games, in general, I lost more games on those days, whereas when I played 4 games or less, I had a positive win rate. Now, part of this is that I streamed most of these games. I don't remember which days I didn't stream, but I believe I was positive on both those days. Everything else got streamed, and when I streamed less games, generally, I had a winning record. A part of this might be that it's easier to stop when you're up a game or two. And then it's like, okay, we'll stop. We're quit while we're ahead. And when you fall behind, you're like, well, I don't want to end here. I'm going to win the next game. And then, we'll end even. And then you'll lose that game. And you're like, okay, we'll win 2 games. And then you lose the 3rd game. And you're like, what are the odds we lose a 4th game? So I really do think it is good to cut it off a bit. It could still happen where you lose like 8 games in a row. But I think, reset for the day. Don't get too tilted out. All of that is generally good. So at least for myself, I do think when I play less games in a given day, it's better for me. And I just want to show you real quick. It may be hard to see this, but this is from Dota Buff. This is the activities page. Let me scroll up and show you. Activity. And so last year, this is when I decided, okay, I'm going to hit Immortal, and we're going to start a YouTube series and everything. And so I did that. And around here is where I actually hit my peak of 6,800 MMR, roughly, something around there. And you'll notice a lot of these days, I only played a few games. In fact, there was a huge chunk where I wasn't playing at all. This is around the time I had an internship, and so I was just very busy. But I was only playing a few games a day when I was at my best. Then over time, for various reasons, we drop off, and this is where the series started recently. And you'll notice some of the smaller circles tend to be green, whereas some of the bigger circles tended to be the losses. So I do think historically it has shown to me that when I play less games, I tend to do better than playing too many games. If you guys want to test that out yourself, feel free. Maybe some of you are better at playing more games in a row than I am. But that is how I work, apparently, based on my past. So yeah. Another thing is that you would think after playing so many games, I'd have gotten better at Snapfire, but in fact, in the end, my win rate with her was 44%, going 19-24 over 43 games. Not the best. Lessons I learned. I will probably make a short video on like tips and tricks. I feel like having a 44% win rate means I'm not qualified to make a Snapfire guide per se, but I will share some of the tricks I learned in a separate video later on. Now, how do we explain this win rate? So the most obvious explanation is that I suck at Snapfire, right? That I'm not good at her, even after this many games. Now, that's a very, very real explanation, very possible. Could it be that I'm actually like okay at Snapfire, but just not good enough for my MMR? Possibly, but we did end up fluctuating here, and my Jakiro win rate was 11 and a 5, 69% win rate, very nice. And so that shows that with other heroes, I can play at this level. So it is something around Snapfire, and it might be that I'm bad at her. Now, another possibility is that her toolkit is very hard, kind of connecting back to being bad at her. Deceptively so. I didn't realize it when I started this, but after focusing on her, many of her skills can easily be wasted and not get the full potential out of them. I'll talk more about this in that video I'm going to make, but that could be part of it. So it may just take more games for me to really get into the hero and not kill my carries with bad cookies, because that was happening even towards the end. Now, I did get better at this. We had much better cookie usage. The ultimate, still a little hard to use. It's kind of straightforward, but you need a teammate to go in first and to tell you, like, hey, I'm initiating. And what would happen a lot is that they wouldn't tell me, and I'd react late, and then, it's not the best ultimate. And that happened a lot. So potentially, for my MMR, around 6K in the NA region, maybe Snapfire needs a bit too much coordination with her team to, like, really excel. Maybe that's why she does better at high-level games, why they still prioritize her. But maybe at my rank, it's not so great. And maybe my communication is not good enough to make full use of her in pub games. I do feel pretty confident that if I played with a team where we draft together, we talk a lot, I think I'd play her pretty well. Maybe that's my own excuse. I'm going to tell myself to feel better after 43 games. But perhaps the data suggests in pubs, I got some work to do to really make her work. Now, we only played her in position 5, so maybe she's a better position 4. That's another theory, and we might try her in some position 4 games going into the future, which leads me to my next point. We have used up all our role queue tokens, so it's time to start playing them out again. We've done 2 so far. I traded mid away because I was a chicken, and chat shamed me after that. So from now on, we'll do whatever role we get. Use the time to just have some fun. Play a role that's not the hard support, get more role queue tokens, and then, once we reach 60, I think what I want to do is play Jakiro and Treant Protector, because they are statistically some of my best heroes, and so we'll see. Snapfire spamming, maybe it didn't quite work out. So let's try some heroes that I've played more, that I'm better with, that are more straightforward. At least Jakiro is, I would say, and I think Treant too. They're more straightforward, easier to get full usage out of their spells, and let's see if we go up. Now, I may not spam them for 60 games, because I got a little tired of playing Snapfire. Well, actually, she's pretty fun. She has a lot of variety, part of why she's hard, I think. But for you guys, I think it's a little boring to keep watching me play Snapfire, so we might switch to Jakiro, Treant a little bit. Let's see how it feels after like 20, 30 games. Because based on this win rate, 69%, like, that's great, actually. If I keep that up with Jakiro, we should climb pretty easily. Now, of course, the game should get harder as we climb up, so maybe that win rate won't hold up forever. But, well, let's test it out, because based on these 2 heroes, right, who should you pick, Snapfire or Jakiro? Well, the data suggests that I'm better at winning with Jakiro, so if you want MMR, that's what we got to do. So I think that will be the next part of the series. But this first 60 games, Season 1, yeah, we played Snapfire. I think I'm a much better Snapfire player, and I think my laning stage got a lot better. Irrelevant to Snapfire. We were doing some things that we could do with any hero, and so now as we switch away from Snapfire, we can focus on those more. But I only really start to focus on that because I spammed Snapfire. So I do think I'm a better player for all of this, for these 60 games, and fingers crossed, MMR will come in the future as we keep going. But yeah, I think that's it for this episode, the first 60 games. I don't want this to get too repetitive every time, but maybe if you guys like it, where we break down like every few games, the lessons I've learned. But at least for all this chunk of games, the lessons felt very similar, and so I thought it'd be boring to like keep repeating them. It's like, wow, I still suck at the laning stage, guys. Still got to work on it, you know? It was kind of the same thing every time for me. And even that I may pick out different lessons, but in the end, a lot of it was like, well, I suck here. You know, so only so much. Oh, there is one more thing I do want to highlight, though, for you guys before we end here. So, end win rate, 30 to 30 games. But I just want to reemphasize to you guys, that's why every single game matters. Because if I just win one more game that was a loss instead of 30-30, I switched to 31-29, which would have been a net gain of 60 MMR instead of going dead even. If I turn another loss into a win for whatever reason, maybe that Daedalus game I built, you know, that goes from 31-29 to 32-28, giving us 120 MMR. So every single game really does matter. Some of these wins that I posted that 4v5 game, if you didn't see it, feel free to check it out. My team managed to win 4v5, which is pretty crazy. And if I had lost that game, which would have been very understandable, then it would, instead of 30-30, be 29-31, and we'd be down 60 MMR right now. So this is why I really recommend you always try every game. Don't get too tilted. Even if it looks like you've lost, play it out, because maybe you'll win, maybe you'll lose, and in which case, whatever, you were going to lose anyways. But every game you can turn into a victory does speed up the process in the grand scheme of things, like I'm demonstrating to you guys here. If I hadn't thrown that game here and there, I might be up some MMR. I don't think I gave up in any of these games, okay? Credit to me, I don't think I give up in games. But like, some games I had teammates who gave up, you know? And if they hadn't given up, maybe they have a very similar win rate to me. Maybe they're at 50-50. And if they hadn't given up and we kept playing and they win that game, maybe we're both up a bit of MMR instead of being like stagnating here. So if you have, you know, I don't want to be mean and call it a problem, but like, if you give up too early, it does hurt your MMR. Just play the game out. Maybe you lose, but like, you're already in there. Is there really much difference between a 30-minute loss and a 40-minute loss? Not really. You know, it's a loss either way. So see if those 10 minutes, maybe you can make a comeback. Several of these, I know if you're just watching the summaries, you didn't really see it, but on stream, many of these wins are comebacks. Many of these losses are throws. You never really know where a game is going to end until you break your items, until you run down mid, AFK in the fountain. Then I kind of know where that game's going to end, you know? So don't give yourself the definitive loss by being negative, by starting to flame teammates. Keep trying, keep staying positive. Any game you can turn into a win will speed you up. Hopefully, I will. Hopefully, in the next series of games, we will get some MMR to reflect that. But yeah, that's the last lesson I want to highlight for you guys. So, thank you for watching up to here. Please give me feedback on what you think of this. Apparently, this might be a long series because we've made no MMR progress in 60 games, and that's why I think maybe this sped up format might be a little better, where I just kind of like quickly reflect 20 plus games. But if you liked the original like breakdown of like, here's 10 games, here's a couple lessons I learned from there, let me know. I can do all this off stream. So like, I want this to be like a educational thing. So let me know what you guys prefer, what you think is more helpful, and I'll try to do that. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.